Would you like to know why you are not growing? Why the things you are doing are not multiplying, not turning out the way you expect? You want to make more money doing things that you love, so you don't need to stay at your job or keep applying to get another job. You want to see the change in the mirror before you give up and go back to old eating habits because it's not working. You want to reach the gold that's at the end of the rainbow soon before you turn back because it feels like it's taken too long. I'm going to show you one of the main reasons why you are not growing, the fastest way to grow, and I was reading in my book the other day something that inspired this video. And yes, I'm one of those guys who reads my own book. It's actually a wise thing to do. Ask Jesus. But I want to read it to you because if you get this, it will change the game for you. It's page 84. All right, let me set the table first before I read this. You must understand that not growing and growing are habits. Failure and success are habits. The reason people fail is because they have a habit of doing things that make you fail. Things like not preparing, giving up, constant thoughts of lack and limitations. People who keep failing stay in a cycle of failing habits, and then it keeps producing after itself. It's like an assembly line. You've seen examples of factories where they will set the program, then as it gets to each station, it goes through the process until the end you see the finished product. It doesn't matter what happens along the assembly line. The program was set to fail, it will only fail. It's exactly the same way with the success assembly line. Imagine an assembly line set to make Cheerios, then halfway through someone tries to add things at one of the stations. It isn't going to change what it is or what it is set to be. Cheerios are coming out at the end of the line. It may be a tampered version of Cheerios, but it's still Cheerios. Many have the habits of a failure. Some you picked up yourself, some got programmed into you by the system. But many are on the failure line and halfway through are trying to drop success in, thinking it will change things. It's not going to work. There's a reason God says you must be born again. Not medication to sedate you, but transformation to elevate you. Now the table has been set. You will know what I mean when I say congestion, and I don't need to read the whole page. Congestion is one of the main things stopping you from growing faster, getting better results, and fulfilling your full potential. On page 84, this is what I say. You remove old habits and then insert new habits. If not handled this way, it brings about congestion. Do you notice how in the text above, when talking to Jeremiah the prophet, God arranged his words by saying, you need to pull stuff down, break down, root out before planting and building. When something gets congested, it brings problems. When a drain gets blocked, you don't continue putting the same things blocking it down the pipe. You put in the pipe cleaner, which unblocks the pipe, and then you use it in a different way to ensure the same problem does not happen again. Stop putting the same things down the drain. Let's talk about congestion. When you try to build on top of old habits, you get a monster, not something magnificent. You're trying to plant and water and build, but you're doing it on ground that's already used. You want the results to come faster, but they're never going to come because you can't build success habits on top of failing habits. You can't grow fast if the things you are doing are destined to slow you down. It's like sitting in your car with the engine off, but you're pressing down on the gas. The car isn't going to move anywhere. People are in the car, pushing down on the gas on a car that's not on, and are wishing and hoping to pick up speed. I was late to the party, but I started playing this game recently called Township. I discovered something interesting. Before I talk about that though, let me give you an example of what happens when you set your assembly line to success, to growth, to fruitful. Success, growth, and fruit starts showing up. The other day I woke up and years ago, I used to make whiteboard videos on my Bible study channel, and because I have a whiteboard here next to me, a company that makes pens and things like that got in touch. They want to send me some products for free. But if I never made any videos, if I never decided to do the things God called me to do, this will never happen. I have a choice. I can say yes, I can say no, but this happens more and more. More opportunities to grow, more opportunities to produce fruit. Jesus says it this way, and I like how Jesus said it. In John chapter 15, listen to what Jesus says. This is verse 2 right here. Every branch in me that bears not fruit, he takes away. That sounds like an assembly line set to failure. But listen to what Jesus says to end the verse. And every that bears fruit, he purges it, that it may bring forth more fruit. That sounds like an assembly line set to success. If you produce fruit for God, God will purge you. That Greek word means to cleanse. He cleanses you, makes you clean so you can produce even more fruit. I mentioned the game Township earlier. One of the things I do to relax is play games. I'm playing this game. You have to plant crops. So I plant wheat and corn and carrots so I can take it to my factory and produce food for my cows and my chickens and my sheep. Then I can feed the cows and they produce milk. Then I can take the milk to my factory and make cream and cheese and other dairy products. I can hear the vegans now. This guy is producing dairy products. How could he? These are righteous factories that I'm running. But I take the crops I've planted and do the same with the chickens and the sheep. The chickens give me eggs, the sheep give me wool. Everything starts with what you plant. I'm playing thinking, if people slowed down and paid attention to what's happening, it'd change their lives. It all starts with what you plant. Everything starts with that blank patch that you have. You can't plant on top of the crop. You can only plant on land that is not used already. You have 3 options. 1, if you don't plant, you lose. You cannot make money. You can't buy back your time. You can't do anything. Or you can plant the wrong thing. You lose. You don't make money. You don't reach freedom. You can do some things, but not everything you should be doing. Or you plant well, you win. You make money in abundance. You have freedom to choose what you want to do, and you can do whatever you like. Most want to grow fast. They want more results, and they want things to become reality. So they start trying successful things, but they try to dip their feet in and mix successful habits with their active failing habits. They, in effect, try to sprinkle some good seeds in land that's fertilized and set up to produce bad crops. You must do what God told the prophet Jeremiah to do. You can't build and plant on the soil of life in a successful way if you don't root out and pull down and destroy what's there. Decide today, I'm not making changes over time, I've changed. And once you plant the right seeds, like in Township, you have to wait for the crop to come. Some things are longer or some things are fast. In those moments, you don't do what most people do. You do what only the few do. You don't go back to old ways, but you behave according to your new ways. You let the assembly line do what it's supposed to do, because it can only do and will only do what it has been set to do. I know deep down you think it's hard, but I promise you it's easy. It's hard for the old you, but very easy for the new you. You will get surprised at what the new you can do with one day, more than you've ever done before. You will see what's possible by watching my video on why it's not too late for you to be great. Go win, and God bless.